What is up, guys? Welcome back to another fantasy football video. This week we're going to be covering 5 teams to target for game week 7 to 12. It's mainly going to be focused on teams to target offensively, but there is also some good fixtures there defensively as well. But without further ado, let's just get stuck into it. Okay, so first team to target, I think Arsenal would be a good one to target. They do have really good fixtures, as you can see from 7 to 12. They've got Brighton, Crystal Palace, Aston Villa, Leicester, Watford and Liverpool. Only tough one out of those is probably Liverpool, but they do have some really good fixtures. They've also got some really good budget players, so Bakary Saka is also a really good player. I think that he had a really good run of form last season towards the end, and he had a really good run in the Euros as well. But he took a little bit of time to get back to full fitness, and also just to get back into that form as well. But he recently just got 1 goal and 1 assist against Tottenham. I think that's a good sign to come. He's only 6.2 million, I think, or 6.3 million, which is really well priced. So Bakary Saka could be a really good player to pick. Emil Smith Rowe, who's only 5.3 million. He could be a really good pick as well. I think he plays number 10, or usually on the left wing. But both positions he gets quite far forward. And then there's also to consider Nicolas Pepe. Or granted, he didn't start this week, but if he does begin to start, then he could definitely be a one to target as well. Personally, I think also defensively, Arsenal are a good team to target. Aaron Ramsdale's just started in net recently, and he's actually only 4.5 million. And since he started in net, they've actually kept a much better defensive record. They look much more solid as a unit. I think in general, Arsenal are a really good team when they're in form. It's just a case of getting to that stage. And usually at the beginning of the season, they usually tend to struggle at the beginning of the season. I'm not too sure why, but they always tend to struggle at the beginning of the season. But now that they've picked up a bit of form, they've got some good stats behind them now. I think Mikel Arteta will start to pick up some form, and they could have a good run of fixtures. Okay, so moving on, we've got Chelsea. Chelsea have, in my opinion, the best run of fixtures without a doubt. In my mind, they've got Southampton at home, Brentford away, Norwich at home, Newcastle away, Burnley away, and Leicester away. In my opinion, those are without a doubt the best fixtures for a long time. They've got the 6 highest shots on target. That's actually quite high considering they're more of a defensive team, more of a defensively solid team. 6 highest shots on target, which is pretty good. I think only Liverpool and Man City and Man United are the highest. But still, I mean, still good defensive fixtures. You've got the likes of Antonio Rudiger, who's nailed on, Marcos Alonso, who's not as nailed on, but he's really attacking. And so long as he doesn't rotate too much with Ben Chilwell, could be a good option. And then obviously Reece James, who when is fit, is a really good option as well. Other nailed on options are Aspilicueta, however, he's priced at more of a premium bracket of 6 million, but still a really good option. So they've got great fixtures, high number of shots on target. And also Romelu Lukaku, in my opinion, I think that Romelu Lukaku is a really, really good option. Yes, he is a premium bracket, but he is a really good captaincy option. And against Norwich, Newcastle and Burnley, I know I'm going to be captaining him. Don't know about you guys, but I'm definitely going to be captaining him for those fixtures. So definitely one to consider. And they've also got a really good threat from set pieces. I think that Antonio Rudiger is their main threat from set pieces. However, pretty much any of the defenders can score, and also the midfielders. So I think it's always beneficial to be a threat team from set pieces. It's always a good sign as well for a team who may win the league, is when they score a lot of goals from set pieces and they concede very few from set pieces. That's a good sign that they could win the league as well. And if you're going to win the league, then it's definitely worth targeting their players, especially for the good runs of form and fixtures. Okay, so moving on, we've got Man City. Man City are obviously a very good team. We know that for a fact. It's just a case of targeting when they're in form and when they're getting those goals in. Now, personally, I don't think, from looking at their fixtures, they don't look like they've got amazing fixtures other than from game weeks 8 to 10. And in my opinion, from game weeks 8 to 10, you definitely want to have at least one of their players. Now, in my opinion, you can either have Cancelo, Grealish, maybe Torres, Jesus, or potentially also Gundogan or Mahrez. There's quite a lot to choose from, but by my personal opinion, I would go with Cancelo and Grealish. But in my opinion, game weeks 8 or 10 are definitely a team to target, and definitely an attacking team to target. Third highest shots on target, which is really, really good. They've got a good run of fixtures, and also the bookies' favourite to win the league. There's a reason that they're the favourites to win the league. It's because eventually they're going to start picking up some really good form. They've already got some really, really good defensive form, which is why I recommend Cancelo or maybe even Ruben Diaz. But in terms of offensive form, It's a case of which player you're going to pick. And in my opinion, Jack Grealish is the player to pick. He's only 8 million, which is actually pretty good for a Man City premium. 8 million is really good, well priced. So in my opinion, best player to go with it would be Cancelo and Grealish, but definitely a team to target going forward and keep your eye on them going forward. Okay, so next up we've got Leeds United. Now I know you may not be thinking about Leeds United because they're not having as good a season this one so far. There's only been 6 games, but still they don't look like the Leeds United of old. However, I do think they've got a good little run of fixtures coming up, and I definitely think that eventually they'll start to click and they'll start scoring more goals. And Watford, Southampton, Wolves, and Norwich all definitely good fixtures. Even Leicester, I would say, and Tottenham are good fixtures to score goals against. So in my opinion, they've got really good fixtures. It's just a case of which player do you get in. Now, personally, I would go with Bamford. However, he is injured. But between that game week 8 and between game week 7 and 8, you have got the international break, so he most likely will recover from his injury. You've also got the likes of Rafinha and potentially Dallas as well. So I'd definitely go with Rafinha if you're going for a budget mid-priced midfielder. He's on set pieces as well, but he also just looks really threatening. So definitely a player to consider. As well as that, they do score a lot of goals. They're not a team who are goal shy. It's just a case of getting them to click and getting them to get in form basically. And then finally, they also take a lot of shots on goal. I've not got the stats on how many shots on goal they take, but they are a team that tend to take a lot of shots on goal. And especially given that they've had a few tough fixtures to start with, I think that now that they've got some good fixtures, they'll be taking a lot more shots on goal, and that definitely means they'll get a lot more goals, which means their midfielders and their forwards are ones to target. Next up, we've got West Ham. Now, West Ham are a really interesting team because they've never been particularly likely to be the top 6 or top 4 team, but the past 2 seasons, including this one that's currently in the swing of things, they just seem to be a team who are really difficult to break down and difficult to beat. They've got this really good mentality that David Moyes has brought to the team, and I really think that they've got a really good chance of getting top 6 this season. They've got the 4th highest shots on target so far of 6 games. They've got Mikel Antonio, who's a great forward, really, really complete forward, and as well as that, like I just said, David Moyes has brought this really, really tough, rigid form to them. They've got good home and away form, but specifically good home form. They've scored 7 goals and conceded 5 at home, which is actually pretty good considering they had some tough fixtures. But I definitely think they're a team to target, especially Mikel Antonio and Ben Rama. But yeah, I would definitely keep an eye on them. They're one of those teams who I wouldn't want to play against them, and if I've got players, I would definitely want to target them as well. So I wouldn't target teams playing them, but I would target the teams that they're playing against, especially the lower league teams. And even against the bigger league teams, you know that for a fact that against the bigger teams, they'll still got a good chance of getting a goal, and they just seem to score in most games. So definitely a good team to target, good home and away form, and definitely one to target. So that completes my list for top 5, or not top 5, but 5 teams to target. Hopefully you found it useful and informative. If you have, smash the like button and don't forget to subscribe. But yeah, new videos coming up this week. But until then, take care.